This is me, Cody Shaney, also known as Kings, and yes, that is Drew Brees, Kendrick Lamar, and Jason Tatum, along with many other celebrities who have worn my custom art. However, this is me, 7 years prior as a teenager, creating art not knowing if I shot my shot earlier, it could have gotten me here a lot quicker. Here's how my dream became my reality. I had no art degree, no business plan, and no connections. And honestly, the first ever shoe I made was terrible. But somehow that turned into working with professional athletes and brands like Monster Energy and Pop-Tarts. And here's exactly how I made that happen. When I first saw NBA players wearing custom shoes, I thought there was a big corporation behind it. I thought that it was from Nike, Adidas, and all these big brands. And then I found out there was one solo artist behind them. And that artist was Kickstradamus. And that's when I realized I could do this too. The very next day, I ordered some paint from Angelus Direct and started to get to work. I found an old pair in my basement from my older brother, and I started painting those. They started out black, and I just turned them blue. I did no prep work. The paint was not going to hold up, but I didn't know that at the time. After I did my first pair, I started to show my friends, and all of a sudden, they started wanting a pair too. So it really got around my community and my high school, and I started making art for pretty much pennies, but it was just cool that I was getting started. My best friend then convinced me to start an Instagram, and so after brainstorming a few names, we came up with Kings Customs, and I've been going by that ever since. Then I had the confidence to hit up a player that was playing basketball in the high school next to me at Oshkosh North. His name is Tyrese Halliburton, and you guys may know him now because he's an NBA All-Star. I did a free pair of shoes for Tyrese in exchange for a post on his Instagram, and at the time he had like 20,000 followers and I only had like 100, so it felt like a fair trade-off. Tyrese liked the first shoes I did for him so much that he had 3 days before he left for college, and he asked me if I could paint a second pair before he left. After Tyrese posted me on Instagram, I started getting a lot of followers, and a bunch of people started reaching out trying to get shoes done by me, which was just such a surreal feeling to know people really wanted my work. This is why I think it's so important to shoot your shot, because if I never texted Tyrese, I don't think I'd be telling you guys my story today. A few months after that, I got an opportunity to work with NBA player Thon Maker. He was playing for the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's my hometown team, so I was really excited to do this. He didn't actually wear these in a game, he wore them at a scrimmage that people could attend, although I did get pictures of him wearing them, so it was a start. It was my first look into the NBA. A few months later, I was featured in our local newspaper, and eventually that same article reached the USA Today. After that article, I found myself so busy in work that I didn't need to get a normal job to pay for college that was up and coming. The summer after I graduated high school, I got reached out to by a custom shoe company called Stadium Custom Kicks, and they offered me a job to be a custom shoe designer under their company. The cool thing about working for them is I had to do no marketing. They were doing everything, they were just throwing orders my way, and all I had to do was paint. They were also sending a lot of big athletes my way, which was so cool, but the thing is, I was doing this all while being a full-time student at college, and I honestly just started getting burnt out from all the work, going to school during COVID, which I was doing online, so I was at home just painting and doing school all in the same room. I also lost a little bit of my way when it came to creativity because they had designers at the company and I was strictly just the executor. So all the designs were already made, I just had to paint the shoe. So I started to feel a little bit like, I don't know, as an artist you want to have creative flow, and I didn't really have that. So I took a huge risk. At the same time that I decided I was going to take a step away from college for a little bit, I also decided to leave this company. So I left the company and left college to focus on my business. I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit scary to try this all out. I was now leaving college and stepping away from that company, but Tyrese Halliburton was just starting to hit the NBA, and he wanted some of my shoes. Tyrese was a rookie on the Sacramento Kings, and he sent me a bunch of shoes to work on, and he started wearing these. News outlets all over Instagram started to take notice. Pages like BR Kicks, Bleacher Report. Wait, that is BR Kicks. He ended up sending me a bunch of shoes to work on, and he started wearing tons of shoes. A bunch of news outlets started to take notice and started posting my work, and eventually I started getting tags in those posts, and things started to blow up from there. Around the same time, my older brother convinced me to start a TikTok, so I started posting my process of painting Tyrese's shoes on there, and again, more things started to blow up. Before I knew it, I was getting DMs across the world asking me to paint their shoes, and I was booking out months in advance. Honestly though, it wasn't easy. I was painting non-stop, and eventually I started neglecting social media because I was so busy painting, and it was hard to do both. Although I still kept up on social media, I started to slowly grow my following on TikTok to 300,000 followers. Eventually, all the hard work on social media started to pay off when brands like Monster Energy, Apex Legends, and Pop-Tarts started to reach out to me to do brand deals. The funny part about working with these brands is they didn't even want my shoes, they just wanted me to paint the shoes and post about it. So I actually have all the shoes I did for brand deals. Eventually, I got asked to speak at the Aspire Tour down in Florida, which is the world's largest business tour. This ended up being a life-changing experience because I met so many business owners that honestly told me that they thought I was undercharging for my work. This really opened up my eyes and taught me to be more confident and to value myself as an artist. Also, while at the show, the owner came up to me while I was live painting and asked me if I wanted to fly to San Diego the following week to hand deliver a custom pair of shoes to Drew Brees. While I was working with Tyrese, Kendrick Lamar came to play at his stadium, and the Sacramento Kings reached out to me to paint a pair of shoes for him and his puppet. I also got reached out to by Celtics employees to paint a pair of shoes to gift to Jason Tatum, which was another really cool opportunity for me. The next big thing for me alongside my shoes was sports cards. I started collecting sports in 2020 around COVID time, and part of it was boredom. And I think the other part was just being stressed about being in school and not knowing my purpose there. So I started collecting. I started opening packs, and eventually I started painting on the base cards. So they're just really cheap cards. And I started posting that on TikTok. And my first video when I posted got 300,000 views. All the comments on that video were asking where they could buy that card. So I threw it up on my website, and it went really quickly. So then the next day I did the same thing. I posted a card I painted, and I sold that one. And I kept doing that over and over until I realized I was onto something. Eventually I started raising my prices a little bit because everything was selling out so fast, and it was really cool because at this point I'm now making money off my shoes, social media, and now my sports cards. Fast forward today, and I released my own art cards that I draw on my iPad, and I release them every couple of weeks for people to buy. And I get it, I know this story sounds awesome, but I can't tell you how many times I wanted to give up. I loved art and believed in myself, but I couldn't stop those unwanted negative thoughts of, am I worthy for this, or is this really a sustainable career, and should I be in college, or is this the right path for me? It got to the point where something really cool would be happening for me and my business, and I'd be so excited, but then as soon as it would happen, I would kind of forget about it and not really celebrate my small wins, which I really wouldn't recommend. This all came from having pressure from trying to build something that was lasting, and I still struggle with this today, but it's gotten a little better as I've had more success. My point is, I probably gave up on myself a million times, but the only reason why I didn't fail is because I tried 1,000,001. In my opinion, to become successful in something that you really want, you have to fail, and you have to fail very rapidly. You really got to ask yourself, if someone told you that you were going to become successful, but you had to fail 1,000 times, would you be willing to fail that many times? Now today, I'm not saying everything is perfect, but I just wrapped up this past month working with NBA All-Star Cade Cunningham. This past season, I got to work with Packer players, and I'm now booked out months with custom commissions. My goal this year is to build up my personal brand and really start sharing the behind-the-scenes work and start posting on YouTube a lot more consistently, because in 2026, I think it's all about being personal and sharing what's going on. I really appreciate you guys for tuning into my story, and if you liked this video, please give us a subscribe and a like because it really helps our channel, and our goal is to continue to give you guys good content, so be on the lookout for more videos from us. You need to stand up close to the mic. And I kind of fought him on it for a little bit. He's like, you have to be posting, and I didn't like any of that. Oh, I'm gonna start that over. Eventually this is so... Put that in there. Actually, put that in there.